Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Madisonville Marine. The beauty of Mad Marine is you can make one stop and compare all kinds of different boats. There's no driving to this pontoon place and then we got to drive over here to check out this fishing boat place. Mad Marine carries fishing boats, pontoons, deck boats, ski boats, whatever you want to call them. They have all variations and makes and models in each of those categories. One place. So when we say there's no better place to buy a boat, that's real. You can make it one-stop shopping. That's no exaggeration. There isn't anybody with a bigger selection of different makes, models, and types of boats than what you'll find at Madisonville Marine, anywhere between Atlanta and Nashville. Madisonville Marine on Highway 411 North. Madisonville, appropriately enough. All right. Want to welcome in the next member of our panel right down there at the end, Jimmy Himes, of course. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 on the Sports, it's Sports Radio, WNML. Some people still slip from time to time and say the sports animal. Jimmy Himes down there. All right. It has been a busy week of the UT basketball offices. There was some writing on the wall last week at this time, but Willie Carmichael made his decision to leave official, says he was looking for a fresh start. He said the coaches were fine to him, but in his opinion, coaches always look to bring in their own guys. Rick Barnes said all the right things about Carmichael. Do you think that this was him looking at this is a freshman who came in, played all 32 games last year, averaged 3 points, 2 rebounds a game. Do you think he saw the writing on the wall? Is that the deal here? Mike, your thoughts?
Well, I'm not 100% sure whether, he said it was 100% him, whether it was or not. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know.
Anybody have any thoughts?
Well, the thing that intrigued me was he said he didn't want to have to adjust a new coaching staff. Well,
exactly.
When you transfer, I think you're going to adjust a new coaching staff. I had a feeling that he maybe felt like he didn't fit in because the playing time should still be there. It's not like they went out and got a bunch of 4- and 5-star guys.
Yeah, and I think he just felt a little bit mismatched against the level of play in the SEC. I mean, he was a foul waiting to happen. It's not like he's the next Kevin Durant. And so either he was going to have to get much stronger physically, or it is in his best interest. I don't know. He might have left anyway.
I just thought when he said, to me, the line that stuck out was when he said, coaches like to bring in their own guys.
Yep.
That stood out to me. I'm guessing this was probably a mutual deal. I'm sure that Rick Barnes and company would have let him stay, but
that's
I'm
why
guessing
I said not fit in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a guy like Armani Moore, I don't think he has to worry about, with what he's produced, I don't think he's got to worry about who the coach brings in. But a guy like Willie that's, barely showing up in the box score, he does.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add in, where's he going to go? Because it's like when football players leave.
Yeah.
And that's what I think he's probably more fit to do that kind
And
of
wish
thing.
him
Chuck
well.
nailed it.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's just not physically able to play it.
And he said a lot of the right things in terms of, he went through some bad here, he went through some good here. He went out with a lot of grace in class. So I think all Vol fans should wish him well in the future. As one door closes, another one opens. Rick Barnes with another commitment. He's now got 3. Add those to the 2 that Tennessee already had under Donnie Tyndall. Suddenly you got 5 new players coming in. And we'll wait a second to see if there's going to be more. But Kyle Alexander, the latest, another big man. Barnes has gone out and gotten 2 guys over 6'9", need. He's gotten a point guard, need. Are you impressed with the fact that with so few visits and so few opportunities to make contact that were left for him with the Tyndall staff, that he's been able to get as many as he has?
Absolutely. Yeah, they've done better than I thought, and he targeted just a few people and got most of them. I think he only had, 5 or 6 official visits he could bring in, and he has made the most of that. He has used football, the spring game, to help with that too. And I think, now I may be proven wrong down the road, but I think on paper, this is a much better class than the one that Tyndall brought in or the one that Conzo Martin brought in his first year.
I would agree.
Well, one thing I look at is you lose Tariq Owens and Willie Carmichael, and you bring in Kasongo and Alexander. You kind of traded 2 young, skinny, tall guys for 2 more.
What do you got against tall, skinny guys? I used to be one of them.
These guys have a little bit more hype behind them, a hair more hype than the other 2, I would think. But, I mean, they're not top 150 guys, but they do seem to have a little bit more push. Or that could just be what we're seeing because we're here, and that's the way the thing gets spun. But you don't see a big changeover.
No, I think, a lot of people saw Tariq Owens. Boy, I hope he sticks around. There's some potential there in time, and I think that's what I'm hearing the same thing about these guys.
Is it going to be any more turnover, you think, or is that it?
Just jump right ahead, Chuck. You run the show, baby. Go ahead. So just jump to that question.
Well, here's something I think is interesting is Lamonte Turner, the point guard, has committed but has not signed yet. So I'm wondering why he has not signed yet after 10 days or whatever.
Fair point.
He reclassified, from 16 to 15, and I don't know if that's a hang-up, some paperwork there or what. I don't know what's going on.
You wonder. And then there are also those players now who sign only the financial aid packages for one reason or another. John Calipari kind of was the first to open that door. Now a lot of people do it. I don't know what the reason would be in that situation, but that's another possibility that he's not going to sign an official letter and he's going to sign a financial aid package. But I don't know. It's one to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
The
I don't
one
see any
thing
more-
that go ahead.
I don't see any more purging of the roster, but I also don't think they will, nor do I think they should bring in another player. I think he needs to make sure he's got some spots available for the next year. Because you got the Braxton Blackwell kid, you got the guy in Chattanooga named Adu, you got others you may be looking at. I think he needs to make sure he's got some spots next year.
Whether that helps him this coming year or not in terms of his roster on the floor. That's the one thing. Conzo Martin went out and gave a few too many. Donnie Tyndall said, we're not going to do that. And then he did that. Now, he gave it to some guys that were fifth-year transfers, but he filled up that roster. So you wonder if Barnes goes at it a little differently than those two guys did and does go into it a little bit shorthanded, if you will, where we could have one or two more bodies, but let's save it instead. It'll be interesting to watch that play out. When we come back, Mike Strange had an interesting column this week. Would Tennessee be better off under Rick Barnes with his past, or Michael White, who turned them down and is now the head coach of Florida? We'll expand that. Would Tennessee be better off on and off the court over the next 5 to 10 years if their head coach was Bruce Pearl, Conzo Martin, Michael White, Donnie Tyndall, Rick Barnes? We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.
From East Tennessee to the Carolinas, no job is too big for Benedict Construction. Patios and decks, custom remodels, even custom homes. With a reputation for excellence, rely on the custom work of Benedict Construction.